Welcome back to Recruiter.com. In this next video on charts, we're going to take a look at combo charts. Let's check them out. In this combo charts first example that I have here, I've taken Facebook Incorporated, I've taken their revenue, net income, and profit margin over the last 5 years as close as possible. So I've actually just rounded these numbers. And what I'm trying to do is I'm going to try to simulate this same chart over here that was found on Google Finance's website. And as you can see, this is a combo chart on Google's website. So they have a column chart, all these columns that are coming up here. And then they also have a line chart overlaying that column chart. And they've stuck in here two different y-axes. And so I have one here with dollars and then one over here on the right side with percentages. So I simulated this already. This is what we're going to try to build over here in Excel, simulating something that we see on the internet and that's used by investors all the time. Let's go ahead and delete this and set it up from scratch. First things first, we're going to select our data and then insert the chart. So I'm going to go to Insert tab on the ribbon. And this icon right here is the combo chart. So I'm just going to hit this combo chart, select the clustered column with the line overlaying it, and pop it down right below it. So number one is done. Let's go ahead and auto style this and try to find a style that represents Google's chart for Facebook over here on the right. So let's pop over and scroll through, see if we can find one. And I can't find a style that really emulates this one, so I'm just going to select this one for now. And let's go into the Design tab on the ribbon, see if we have a quick layout that will help us. And you know, this one doesn't look too bad because I added some space between these columns here, and they're not smushed up right up next to each other anymore. So let's go ahead and complete both of those quickly. And now we have to do the hard part, which is styling it all. So first things first, let's do the easy stuff. Let's grab this title, equals Facebook Inc. Performance, enter. Let's make this legend pop up to the top instead of the bottom. So I'm going to select the element, Control 1, get my task pane up here, say push it to the top. Next, let's go ahead and take a look at this line that I have here on the bottom. This is the profit margin. So in the legend, you can see the profit margin is that gray line. I'm going to select just that line, press Control 1. That's actually looking at the wrong axis. I want to create another y-axis that shows percentages here. So I'm going to create a secondary axis and just select there. Excel realizes that, hey, these values that you've put in for this profit margin, those are percentages. It would make much more sense to have a percent over on this axis than a dollar amount. While I'm selected on here, let's go ahead and make it look exactly like it looks on Google Finance. It looks like it's a red line and it has a square block at the markers. So I'm going to pop over here to the paint bucket for the fill in the line. And the line, let's make it a solid line. And let's change the color to this burgundy red or darker red. And the marker, solid fill, the same red. And then the marker isn't even showing, it's just a line. So let's pop down the marker options and put built in with the square type. The next thing I notice is that let's make these axes the exact same. So I have 0, 25, all the way to 100%. Let's select that element on this secondary axis. Quickly, my task pane updated to formatting the axis. And what we want to do here, we want to do some axis options. And I want to have these bounds so that the minimum is 0, that's fine, but we want to have the max at 1. So now that that updated, it goes up to 100%, but it's incrementing at 10% for each line here. So I want to change this to 0.25, hit tab, and now that looks good. Let's go ahead over here to the other y-axis and format this one as well. Let me pull this over so we can see what it looks like on Google's. First things first, it looks like the highest is 20,000 and it's incrementing by 5,000. So let's pop this over to 5,000 piece, hit tab. And now that matches what we have over here for Google's Facebook chart. And you know, it's getting really close here. The only thing I see is that I'm missing these vertical lines going across here. So let's go ahead and try to select this area and notice that I'm selecting around this outside and not these horizontal lines. So you can select the horizontal lines, which is one element here. You can see that each line here is selected. But if I select in between it, then I get a block around the entire chart area. Let's hit Control 1. Excel tells us that this element is called the plot area. So now we're formatting this plot area. We need to put a border around it. So let's go ahead and do that with a solid line. And let's make this a gray, a lighter gray. The last thing I think that we need though is a dashed line going horizontally across. So let's select that horizontal line. And now that it's selected, this is called the major grid lines that we're formatting here. And what type of a line do we want to do? Well, let's make it a dashed line. And let's just do a once over of this chart. And you know what? I think I screwed up at one point. I must have clicked a border for a gray around this marker here. So I'm going to select this data series and change the marker so that my border is a solid line and it's red. Customization is complete and they look almost identical.